Hello, my name is Marie Laveria, and my channel is called Living a Simple Life and Finding Your Rhythm, LLC. Today is the third video of 3. The title of my other video is Awakening of Self. Something happened and I awoke in a spiritual manner. And today I have the third video that talks about 6 ways or tools that help me come to this place or go through the process of awakening. Now, these tools worked for me. It may not work for you, but it's just to give you an idea of some tools to start off with, to think about, to start you on the process of figuring out where your tools will be if you're interested in doing this. So the first tool that I found is living a simple life, simplifying my life. I decluttered all my possessions. I decluttered my thoughts. I got rid of the negative ones and I replaced them with positive ones. I kept the positive ones. I decluttered my time, my calendar. I started living my life more in sync with who I am and what feeds me. And that was my first tool. It helped me to express my authenticity and be in the present moment. So that is the number one tool, is living a simple life as much as what fits for you. We all do simple living differently. So my simple life is very different than other people's simple life. It's actually taking a breath and slowing down and starting to be in the moment. Really notice what's happening right now in this present moment. And just being able to do things that feed your soul and not have chaos and clutter in those different areas that I just mentioned. The second way was to take a reflection of my life, to make a reflection of my life. In my second book, A Journey to Authenticity, in one of the chapters, I write about 30 years of my life. I looked at my 7 employments that I had and the lessons I learned. I talked about the difficulties and the wonderful blessings, and even the difficulties turned out to be lessons and were blessings. Not always easy, but when we look at our life that way, we can write it out, we can talk it out. We have all kinds of ways of, some people can talk at the computer and it writes for them, compose. We can speak in our phone and record things. We could just sit at the computer and write, or in our journal and handwrite the experiences we had in the last 30 years of our lives that were meaningful. I focused on my 7 employments because that was a starting point that I could relate to, and I talked about what I learned as I did my different jobs. I had some very interesting jobs. So that's a way to really start to awaken ourselves in a spiritual manner and in a mental and emotional manner, to take the time to reflect on our lives. The third tool that I have is, well, getting back to the second one, I realized certain patterns that I was following, and I also realized that some of my choices were not always in the best interest for myself as I looked at my 30 years of my life. So I noticed the lessons that I learned, and all this helped me to get closer to understanding myself more fully and gave me the strength to move forward and make changes in my life that I needed to make to have a better life. Now, the third tool is declutter my mind from negative thinking to positive thinking. You know, life happens, and sometimes we have some pretty horrible situations, and it leaves us feeling a little bitter, negative. So I had a lot of negative thinking. I was really negative for a while, and I hated being that way, but I didn't know how to stop it. So I started using affirmations. Every time I had a negative thought, I would sit down and write an affirmation to counter it. Well, not every time, but most of the time. Maybe at night, I'd look at my day, or one day a week, I'd look at the week, and I would counter the negative thinking with a positive affirmation. An affirmation is a sentence or a statement in positive wording, only positive wording in the present tense. So if someone is having a bad day and An example would be, I hate my job and I can't stand people I work with, whatever. Then an affirmation would be, I am blessed with a wonderful job and I value getting along with my peers. I value the relationship with my peers and my job. Now you're going to say, well, it's not true, but I am calling forth a job that I want when I say that. It's not like if we have an affirmation that is about all the negative stuff going on, nothing good happens. But if we start thinking positive ways, good things come our way. You know, I was looking for a job at one time, and I got a job at an agency that was horrible, didn't pay, and hard to work for. Work expectations was like 80 hours a week, and they were paying me for 40 and not much for 40 hours. So I started writing affirmations about how I am deserving of good income and to be happy at my job. And I'm welcoming a job that will fit my needs and make me happy. And it came. So when we write an affirmation, we're really trying to change our negative thinking into positive thinking to attract the positive. So that is my third tool, affirmations. The fourth tool is simple 5-minute meditation with cleansing breath. And I've already talked about this before. It's basically taking a deep breath in through your nose as far as you can go, and out of your mouth. It could be fast. And then just breathe normal. Every out breath, for 10 of them, every out breath, for 10 out breaths, count 1 to 10. Do 4 sets of those. So it's 40 out breaths, 40 in and out breaths, normal breathing. At the end, you take another cleansing breath. This process clears your mind, grounds your body, and brings about a peaceful feeling for me. The other day, I needed a thinking adjustment, I call it. I was having a bad day. Someone mentioned to me something on the news. I try not to watch the news lately, and it really upset me. The person wasn't trying to upset me, just trying to inform me. So I came home, I sat down, and I did this 5-minute meditation, just as I told you. Cleansing breath, and then 4 sets of 10 breaths in and out. And in my out breaths, I count 1, 2, 3, up to 10. It's 5 minutes. And then when I was done, I felt relieved of my negative thinking. I felt peaceful. I felt centered. I felt I could be in the present moment in a joyful way. It doesn't always do that to me, but that day it did. It really worked so well. So try it. Now that's my fourth tool. It also helps me to connect to my intuition, which is my wisdom center, through my heart, my wisdom center, which gives me marvelous thoughts of positive things to do and how to do things right and all that kind of thing. So my intuition is very important to be connected to. Our intuition is very good wisdom, and we all have it. We just don't always have the connection to it. But doing this short meditation helps me to connect to my intuition, to my soul. Now, the fifth tool, I decided to go get some mental health therapy. I contacted a mental health therapist, and I had some sessions with her. I was having a hard time to move forward in some of the issues that I've had in my life, in the past maybe 20 years, 15 years. And she helped me. She helped me the way she helped me to allow me to accept what had happened. She helped me to get to that place to accept what had happened and to know that I could move forward with these understandings. It was really great. It was hard work, but it was great. It really helped me. Couldn't have done it without her. The sixth tool is developing a sense of courage to be myself, to honor and to love myself just as I am. It's really important to allow ourselves to be ourselves in a loving way. Doesn't mean that, all these things I worked on, being mean, having negative thoughts, all that kind of thing, that's not being myself. But being myself is honoring me and what I like to do and what feeds my soul, and doing things that I have talent to do, allowing myself to have creative opportunities so I can feel wonderful when I create. It makes me feel great. And all of us have creative needs. We just have to figure out what we're good in creating. You know, simple as gardening, making a meal, baking, doing arts of different types, making jewelry, taking photography, that kind of thing. So developing a sense of courage to be myself, to honor and to love myself just as I am. In my culture, it's not encouraged to love myself. It hasn't been. So I have to make myself have that permission to do that. And it takes practice, but it can be done. And don't forget, a sense of humor is also very important when we're seeing ourselves without a mask, truly seeing our naked self. Sense of humor, very important. So these are the ways and the skill and the tools that I use to start my awakening, to go through this process. I'm still in the process. Don't think that I'm there. I am still going through the process of this spiritual awakening. But these tools really help me get on the process, get on the path, on the journey, to experience spiritual awakening. So thank you for listening. I hope it was helpful. See you next time.